when the arrogant Threxian champion, Korrax the Unbreakable, dominates the galaxy's most brutal combat arena for 7 straight years, he believes no species can match his superiority. Then a scraggly human named Orion Reyn steps into the ring, cracking jokes and treating the deathmatch like a backyard brawl. What follows is a stunning display of human unpredictability, raw tenacity, and tactical genius that shatters every assumption the alien crowd held about Earth's fragile-looking inhabitants. Through the eyes of Vex'thor, a veteran arena commentator, we witness the impossible, a human refusing to stay down, turning pain into fuel, and teaching the entire galaxy why you never ever underestimate humanity. Forget yeah. Listen, I have been commentating gladiatorial matches for 32 cycles now. 32 cycles. I have seen Krillian warriors tear through steel with their bare claws. I have watched Saffron acid spitters melt opponents into puddles of regret. I have even witnessed a Gravlock literally eat his opponent mid-fight, which, let me tell you, really killed the betting pool that rotation. But nothing, and I mean absolutely nothing, prepared me for the day a human walked into the Colosseum of Eternal Glory. Let me paint you the scene. The arena floor stretches 300 meters in diameter, surrounded by force shields and 60,000 screaming spectators from 100 different worlds. The sand beneath is stained purple with the blood of champions past. The air smells like ozone and bad decisions. And standing in the center, flexing all 4 of his arms, is Korrax the Unbreakable. You know Korrax. Everyone knows Korrax. 3 meters of pure Threxian muscle wrapped in scales that could deflect plasma fire. 7 years undefeated. 214 consecutive victories. The bookies stopped taking bets against him 3 seasons ago because it was basically robbery. Korrax raises his upper arms and roars, and the crowd loses their collective minds. Merchants selling victory tokens are making a killing, literally. There was a stabbing earlier over a commemorative hologram. Then the opposite gate opens, and out walks this human. Now, I had heard of humans. Heard they were spreading through the outer colonies, causing minor diplomatic incidents, and generally being annoyingly optimistic about everything. But seeing one in person, different story. He is maybe 2 meters tall, which is adorable by arena standards. Whole lean build, no visible armor plating, no natural weapons, just some kind of synthetic fabric covering his torso and legs. His skin is this weird peachy tan color that looks like it would tear if you sneezed on it too hard. And his face, oh his face, has this expression that I can only describe as spectacularly unimpressed. The human, supplication, this Orion Reyn according to the roster, stops about 20 paces from Korrax. He looks up at the Threxian champion. Then he looks at me in the commentator booth. Then he looks back at Korrax. And he laughs. Not a nervous laugh. Not a terrified I am about to die laugh. A genuine, sounds like he just remembered a funny joke laugh. The crowd goes silent. You could hear a flibbit molt. Korrax, who is not accustomed to being laughed at, tilts his massive head. You find humor in your death, Pinkling. Orion wipes his eyes. Hinkling. That is the best you got? 7 years undefeated, and your trash talk sounds like a broken translator chip. I nearly dropped my recording device. Did this human just mock Korrax the Unbreakable? I should probably warn you, Orion continues, cracking his knuckles in a way that makes this disturbing popping sound.
I am having a really bad week. My ship's protein synthesizer broke, so I have been eating nothing but nutrition paste for 6 days. Nutrition paste. Do you know what nutrition paste tastes like? It tastes like someone tried to make food without understanding what food is.
Korrax growls low in his throat. The crowd leans forward. This is either going to be the shortest fight in history, or something very, very weird is about to happen. And then Orion says, starting to walk in a lazy circle, and then I get pulled over by a Confederacy patrol for a broken running light. A running light. Do you know how much they fined me? 12,000 credits for a light bulb. Your words mean nothing, Korrax snarls, all 4 fists clenching. You will die screaming. See, that is where you are wrong, big guy. Orion stops walking and grins, and there is something absolutely unhinged in that grin. Because unlike you, I did not train for 7 years in some fancy combat academy. I grew up on a frontier colony where the local fauna had acid for blood, and the weather tried to murder you twice a week. You want to talk about pain? I once got stung by a Terran box jellyfish, and still had to finish my shift at the docks. The fight bell chimes. Korrax charges like a freight train made of muscle and rage. The ground actually shakes. 3 steps. 4 steps. 5 steps. He swings his primary right fist in a haymaker that could pulverize stone. Orion ducks. Not some fancy combat roll, just drops straight down into a crouch like his legs turned off. The fist whooshes over his head with a sound like displaced air screaming in terror. Then Orion does something I have never ever seen in an arena match. He sweeps Korrax's leg. Let me repeat that. This fragile-looking mammal hooks his leg behind Korrax's ankle and yanks. Now Korrax weighs approximately 400 kilograms. He has a center of gravity lower than most species' sense of self-worth. He should not, by any physical law I understand, be toppled by a leg sweep. But humans, as I am learning, have this thing about laws. They are more like suggestions. Korrax goes down like a felled tree. The impact sends sand flying in every direction. The crowd erupts in confusion and shock. The betting terminals crash because nobody programmed in a scenario where this could happen. Orion does not press the advantage. Instead, he backs up, bouncing on his toes like he is warming up. Point of order, he calls out cheerfully. Do we have a 3 knockdown rule here, or is this fight to the death? Korrax roars and launches himself upright with impressive speed. His scales have turned from blue to dark purple, which I am told means he is really, really angry. Noted, Orion says. Fight to the death it is. What happens next is difficult to describe because it defies conventional combat theory. Korrax attacks with the fury of a wounded star, punches that could shatter armor plating, kicks that have ended bloodlines. Every strike calculated, precise, and backed by 7 years of flawless technique. And Orion just keeps not being where the strikes land. He is not faster than Korrax. The biomechanical analysis confirms this. He is not stronger. He is definitely not more heavily armed, unless you count sarcasm as a weapon, which I am starting to think might actually be the case. He is just impossibly, infuriatingly unpredictable. Korrax throws a straight punch. Orion sidesteps and smacks the extended arm aside, using the momentum to spin away. Korrax attempts a grapple. Orion drops his weight, slips through the hold, and somehow ends up behind the Threxian. The champion executes a perfect spinning back fist. Orion leans back at an angle that looks like it should snap his spine, and the blow misses by the width of a thought. You fight like a damaged servitor, Korrax pants, and I realize with shock that he is actually breathing hard. That hurts, man, really. Orion's grin has not faltered once. I prefer to think of my style as what happens when you cross street fighting with extreme spite. The match stretches past the 5-minute mark, which is already unusual. Most of Korrax's fights end in under 90 seconds. Past 10 minutes, and the crowd has stopped cheering. They are watching in absolute silence, trying to comprehend what their optical sensors are telling them. Because here is the thing about humans that nobody mentioned in the species briefings: they do not quit. Korrax lands a glancing blow to Orion's ribs. I hear something crack from here. The human stumbles, gasps, clutches his side, for exactly half a second. Then he straightens up and smiles through bloody teeth. Okay, that one actually hurt. Respect. Why will you not fall? Korrax's voice carries a note I have never heard from him before. Confusion. Maybe even a trace of fear. Because Orion says, and his voice drops lower, losing some of that playful edge. I made a promise to someone, and humans do not break promises. Not to people we love. Not ever. Something shifts in his posture. The joking facade cracks, and underneath is something that makes my translator circuits glitch trying to find the right word. Determination? No. Deeper than that. More primal. Orion stops retreating. Korrax swings again, and this time Orion does not dodge. He steps inside the blow, takes it on his shoulder with a sickening thud, and drives his fist into the gap between Korrax's chest plates. The Threxian champion staggers backward. You see, I am not here because I want to be, Orion continues. Advancing now, and every word is punctuated by another strike. I am here because the syndicate holding my crewmate said I needed to win 10 arena matches to buy her freedom. Strike. I have won 9. Strike. And I really need number 10. His movements change. Less avoidance, more aggression, trading blows, taking 2 hits to land 1. 2 is against every combat doctrine I know, but the human does not seem to care. Every time Korrax hits him, something breaks or tears or ruptures. And every single time, Orion keeps coming forward. This is insane. I hear myself narrating into the recording device. The human is absorbing damage that would hospitalize most species, and he is using it as fuel. Because that is exactly what is happening. Each injury makes Orion angrier, more focused. I check his biometrics on the arena scanner, and his adrenaline levels are off the charts. His pain receptors are screaming. His body is pumping chemicals I cannot even identify. One of the medical observers leans over to me. Is his species always like this? I have absolutely no idea, I admit. This is my first human. Lucky you, she mutters. Korrax, for the first time in 7 years, is backing up. His perfect technique is crumbling. His breathing is ragged. He has fought hundreds of opponents, but never one who treated pain like an insult to be avenged, rather than a warning to be heeded. The champion attempts a desperate tackle, using all 4 arms to grab and crush. It should work. It has worked 214 times before. Orion catches 2 of the arms, plants his feet, and somehow impossibly holds his ground. His legs shake. His face turns red from exertion. Blood drips from a cut above his eye. But he holds. You know what the worst part about nutrition paste is? Orion asks through clenched teeth, as if he is not currently in a strength contest with a being twice his mass. It does not just taste bad. It is boring. No texture. No variety. Just the same bland garbage every single meal. He shifts his weight, twists, and uses Korrax's momentum to send the Threxian stumbling sideways. And I am so tired of boring. What happens next is going to be analyzed in combat schools for generations. Orion does not use any advanced techniques. He does not pull out a hidden weapon or reveal some secret ability. He just starts hitting Korrax, over and over with the single-minded intensity of someone who has completely run out of patience with the universe. Precision is gone. Form is gone. It is just raw, furious, human stubbornness, made manifest in physical violence. Korrax tries to defend. His blocks get slower. His counters miss. For the first time in his career, the unbreakable is breaking. The crowd finds their voice again and the noise is deafening. Half are cheering. Half are screaming in disbelief. The betting terminals have caught fire. Actual fire. Security is dealing with 6 different riots in the stands. 15 minutes into the match, Korrax drops to one knee. Orion stands in front of him, swaying, bleeding from at least 8 different wounds, one eye swollen shut, ribs clearly broken, and still smiling. Yield, he says quietly. Never, Korrax gasps. Dude, I respect the dedication, but you are done. We both know it. Yield. Take the loss, and live to fight another day. The unbreakable does not yield. Orion sighs. Right. Pride thing, I get it. He delivers one final strike, a perfect uppercut that connects with Korrax's jaw and sends the champion sprawling backward into the sand unconscious before he hits the ground. The arena falls silent. Then erupts. I am not sure what is louder, the cheering, the booing, the arguments, or the sound of every preconception about human fragility shattering simultaneously. Orion limps to the center of the arena, raises one shaking hand in victory, and then proceeds to collapse face first into the sand. Medical teams rush in from both sides. As they load him onto a hover stretcher, I see him mumble something to one of the medics. I enhance my audio receptors and catch it. Tell Maya I am coming for her. 9 down. 1 to go. They cart him off to the medical bay, and I am left staring at the arena floor where Korrax the Unbreakable still lies unconscious. His 7-year winning streak ended by a species the galaxy thought was too soft for real combat. I look directly into my recording device and speak to what I know will be billions of viewers across hundreds of worlds. Ladies, gentlemen, and beings of all configurations, I have learned something today, something important. When a human tells you they made a promise, when they tell you they have someone to fight for, when they look at impossible odds and smile that particular smile, I pause for effect. Run, because humans do not understand the concept of giving up. They do not have a word for surrender that does not taste like poison in their mouths. They will walk through fire, shrug off pain that would kill most species, and turn sheer bloody-minded stubbornness into a weapon that can topple champions. I glance at Korrax, who is finally being revived by his medical team. He looks confused, defeated, and somehow smaller than before. The human named Orion Reyn won today not because he was stronger or faster. He won because his species has this absolutely unhinged relationship with adversity. They take it personally. The crowd is still arguing. Bookies are declaring bankruptcy. 3 different species representatives are demanding rule changes. And somewhere in the medical bay, I know, a battered human is getting patched up and probably already planning his next fight. Because he made a promise. And as I have learned today, that is the most dangerous weapon in the galaxy.